outcomes that we expect on today's section is we're going to show you guys what is the 4 powerful functions that we have in our ACT email notifications, which we expect to use to help or some company business pain point. Okay. So of course, you will notice that the add-on that we have normally start with ACT. Okay, it's just a quick introduction. ACT is actually represent another app-centric technology company that actually under CRT as well. Okay, we aim to fill the gaps between the user needs and technology. It means that what is the standard BC gaps with the, and then we use the ACT add-on to actually cater it on that. Okay. So the difference between the ACT apps versus the customization, because for our CRT customer, you know that, okay, we can do the customization specifically for your company itself, or we actually, for ACT apps, we did it for general, means that for public, we actually publish the add-on into the Microsoft Marketplace. Okay, the difference is, of course, for ACT apps, normally it's a plug and play, especially for those BC cloud company. I mean, you can directly even install the trial versions through the Microsoft Marketplace. Of course, for BC on-prem customer, you can also purchase this add-on just to actually implement it into your BC environment. Of course, as compared to the customization just for your own company, the add-on, of course, is more cost saving. Okay, then of course, we will keep on tracking on the BC latest update and provide you the latest version enhancement from time to time. Okay, so the ACT email notifications we actually developed to serve the pain point per below. Okay, so of course this is just the part of it that we hope that we can help it in the ACT email notification. First, of course, time consuming, because existing you will need to generate your file manually and email to your vendor or customer every time email. But with the ACT email notification, you can actually preset all the customer and vendor email in a single place, and then preset the email template inside the BC, so that every time once the PO or sales order been approved, the system will auto send out the email notifications. It can direct send to your customer, or you can just maintain it internally to the related salesperson or purchaser. Okay, it depends on your configurations of the email notifications. So it will be time saving. Secondly, we also hope to cater the pain point on your messy contact. As I mentioned, okay, existing, for example, if today you dealing with the to your supplier, so every time when you send the PO, of course, you will need to deal with their salesperson. But for the invoicing, you might need to deal with their AP team or their finance team. So for that case, standard BC, your email account email address that you maintain is normally in a single column, so you might have the difficulties that you will need to change that email from time to time, or you might need to email those documents manually. But with ACT email notification, we provide the flexibility for you to set up the email user group. Means that you can categorize your supply email using the email user group. Same goes to your customer. Okay. Then of course, we have to expect to reduce the repeating process, okay, which might actually causing the human mistake. So these are 3 main pain points that we hope to cater in the ACT email notifications. Okay, so these are the tools that we actually help to solve the frustration on email tasks. So we can have the auto email preset contact, and also the email content is configurable. Okay. So this is the benefit, okay, productivity, manage client contact, and minimum time on your email tasks. Okay, so as I highlight on the outcome just now, this will be the 4 main functionality that we have in the ACT email notifications. Okay, for those clients, if you already subscribe our ACT email notification earlier, you will notice that as compared to the previous only scheduling report 1 click and approval status email, now we have one more add-on functionality called modified auto notifications, and this function is meant, it can be used to cater also the E-Invoice email notification. Means that every time when your E-Invoice submitted to the IRB, once it's been validated, system will auto trigger the email to the related party. So you can either get the system to auto send to the related customer or vendor once your invoice has been validated, or if you are not confident on that, you can also send the validated e-invoice firstly into your internal team. Okay, it totally depends what is your expected outcome and how you configure the email notification inside the PC. Okay, so as you can see, the 4 functionality here. First one is on the scheduling report. Okay, means that with this add-on, you can preset the scheduling inside the PC for the system to auto blast out the email to your management. It can be daily, weekly, or even monthly. If you have any report that you actually would need to submit to your management monthly or weekly, you can preset using the SCT email notifications. Okay. Secondly, for one-click email, okay, means that you can also set up the template and link it to a certain page. For example, I want to link it to my purchase order or my sales order. So I can preset the template. So every time when my users will need to send the email to the specific vendor or specific customer for those orders has been approved, they can just click a button, so system will auto send out the email to the related party. Okay, this is applicable to most of sales and purchase document and also warehouse document as well. So for example, if today your warehouse, once they receive the goods, instead of they manually download the warehouse receipt, the postal warehouse receipt document, they can use the SCT one-click email to auto send that email to the purchaser or to inform the related user. Okay, it can be used for internal notification and also external notifications. And third one is about the approval status email. So means that we can also use the notifications to inform the related purchaser or salesperson when their sales or purchase approval request has been approved. And same goes, if you want the system to auto blast the confirm PO to your supplier once your HOD approves the PO, you can also preset using the SCT email notification. Means that you can use either to inform your internal team, or you can also get the system to auto blast out the PO or SO to your supplier or customer once it's been approved inside the business central. Okay, and then lastly, for on modified auto notification, this is the functions where the system will keep trace a specific field inside the PC. For example, today you set up in the customer, so you want the system to auto inform you every time when someone modified the customer credit limit. Okay, so you can set it using this all modified functions. So means anyone modified that specific field, system will trigger the email notifications. Or this logic, we also use it for the E-Invoice. Okay, as you know, okay, if you have actually subscribed CRT E-Invoice module, the add-on, you will notice that every time after you submit to E-Invoice to the IRB, okay, we will need to wait to get the response from the IRB whether the E-Invoice is validated, invalid, or been rejected. Okay, so for those cases, we can also preset every time when the E-Invoice status in the postal sales invoice updated as validated, I want the system to blast the email to my customer or just to my internal salesperson, so my salesperson can review and forward it to the customer. Okay, it depends how you want to preset the notification. If after, normally if after the process is stable, you prefer it to auto blast the notification to your customer, you can also preset using these functions. Okay, so this is the 4 main core functionality that we have in the SCT email notifications. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so if you are familiar with the standard VCR, okay, this is the standard way on how normally you were able to receive the schedule report. You will notice that you can preset the scheduler, the job queue, and system will auto send the report into your PC. Okay, this is the standard way without the SCT. But system won't send you the email notification. But with the SCT, okay, your scheduling report can be auto sent to your management email with that report as the attachment. It could be either in the PDF mode or it can be in the Excel. Okay, depends on the report that you want to schedule. Okay, you just need to set up in the job queue so you can design it whether to be blast out weekly, monthly, or even daily. Okay, depends on the report requirements. You can preset, and of course, all this email group and also the email content and the attachment is configurable. Okay, that one is for the first one, talk about the scheduler. That one I will present direct in the VC. Okay. Second one is on the standard email document. Okay, standard, yes, they have the email confirmations, but of course, normally for when you click on it, okay, the two you can preset, but the CC and VC normally will blank. You might need to insert manually. Okay, and for the SCT way of doing these email notifications, okay, we actually customize. On this this add-on, we actually add a button in the sales and purchase document and also the warehouse document for you to click the SCT send email notification. So it means that the email will auto be sent out to the related party whenever user click a button on it. So it means that you can choose whether to prompt the email dialog or not to prompt. So if you are actually confident on the SCT setup that you did, normally you test means that prompt the dialog for you to verify the content and the attachment itself. All is actually is fulfill your requirement. We can just choose not to prompt the dialog. Means that user can just select that orders and click SCT send email notification. By doing so, system will auto blast the notification out. Okay, so then this is the standard way of approval status email notifications. And for SCT way, okay, you'll notice that standard, there is a feature for you to actually link it, direct open up the PC, but there is no attachment if even after the request approval has been approved. But with the SCT way, we can add in the attachment. You will notice that now over here, I can put in the sales order confirmations attachment in my email. So it means that instead of just telling me my order has been approved, they can actually send me the attachment saying that that order confirmations also, that specific sales order has been confirmed. Okay, same as just now the scheduler reports, all the email subject, email group, and email content is configurable. Okay, so now let me show you all these 4 functionalities inside the VC screen. Okay, so I will start the demo sections inside my VC screen. Okay, so first I will start with the scheduler itself. Okay, as you can see here inside my app VC screen, okay, we add in something called email notification list, which allow you to preset your email template. So means that if today I want the system to auto blast me the customer top 10 reports, okay, I will create the email notification template inside the VC. So, and I will select the event type as scheduler, because you see the 4 functionality is actually stand for different event type. I have the business event on execution, action on activate, scheduler, and data change modified. Okay, the first one here, I put scheduler on schedule. Means that I'm telling the system, I would like to set the scheduler to auto blast out this report. I will select the report ID I want the system to auto blast out. Okay, if I have any pre-configuration filtering, I can also do it if I want to filter any of the report. Because normally if you run report, you can do some filtering, right? So if let's say you want only for local customer or only for foreign customer, you can also preset in this email notification template because before you activate it for the scheduler. Okay, then cost the attachment name, and you can attach it whether in PDF mode, Word mode, Excel, or HTML. Okay, then of course we log the history. And all this send to and also the email subject, all is configurable. Configurable means that the email subject, instead of I just type hard copy here, I can even call the fields in the specific table. So it means that it can be the variable instead of a fixed value. And the send to, you see, I set that send to management, but I won't type the email. But this management actually, I already set up in the email user group. Means that I want the system, every time when the job queue trigger, it will send this report, this customer top 10, this report to my management team. And I will manage my management email inside the email user group. Okay, and then as you can see, below here we have another class tag called email body template. This is the place where I can set up the content of the email. Okay, you can have different type text, line, or different heading. So all this is configurable, and you can even use insert field to put in variable if there is a need. Means that instead of just typing the email using the hardcode way, you can actually calling the field from the BC to make that value as the variable. Okay, so this is for example of the scheduler. So if I did it, the template, of course, I will enable right. Once I'm done, I will just need to go to the job queue here. Okay, then I will set up this code unit for SCT email notification, and I will put in the email notification template that we set up just now as the parameter. Okay, so by doing this, okay, for example, now for today, I want it to auto send out. Okay, on 9:53. Okay, so when I set status to ready, okay, now it's 9:52. So in 9:53, the system will auto trigger this job queue. Okay, so now it's running. Okay, once it's run successfully, okay, because now this one I already put in the sending through my own email. Okay, let's see if it runs successfully. Okay, I should receive that email shortly. Give me a minute. Okay, see the log entry if I run successfully. Okay, this one is the one. Okay, never mind. I just let it run directly for this round. Okay, so once my job queue is run successfully, because this one I set 1 month, I think just now I direct in between step. Okay, what will happen is I will receive the email notifications. Okay, okay, so from here you see I will receive the scheduler report. Of course, I set these two emails as my management team inside my email user group. So we will get that report inside the email. So this thing, it will be auto schedule, depends on whether you want to set it recurring. 1W means 1 week, means that every 1 week it will run 1 time. Okay, after it runs, it will auto populate the next date on the next week. Okay, this is for the first one on the scheduler. Okay, second, okay, same logic apply to any other reports that you expect for the system to auto run it over. Okay, secondly is for the PO confirmations. What I did here, I'm not using the workflow approval. I use the action on activate, means that it's actually user will click the button and system will auto send out the details. Okay, as compared to that, this one you will see I put my send to and the CC to depend on which vendor and which purchaser. Means that I want to send to different vendor, it will send to different email. Different purchaser, it will CC different purchaser email, because purchaser is my internal purchaser, right? Let's say purchaser A has purchaser email, purchaser B has purchaser email. I will maintain inside the conditional email user group. So means that it will based on the data in the specific PO to send the email notifications. And I put it action on activate for the orders that were only when status equal to release. So means that, and you notice that the content that I preset here all is in the variable. I didn't type the vendor name, I didn't type the contact name, but I put in vendor variable. Same goes for the PO number, or I put it as variable. Okay, the subject also same. The CRT PO, then here I put variable, right? So let's see what is the result. Okay, now I just need to go to my purchase order list. Okay, let me look for, okay. So you notice this is the two demo data that I prepared. One is for the vendor 10,000 and second is for the vendor 20,000. Okay, what it will happen is when I select this one, the first one, when I click this ACT send email notification, okay, system will auto send out the email. Okay, and I will no longer require to manually type send to which custom vendor or which processor. Okay, when I click on it, okay, I just need to come back to my email. Okay, so you will notice that system will auto send out the email notifications, and there's data that I preset using the variables, right? All will be presenting over here. Depends on my configuration. Okay, and also the PO attachment. Okay, it actually can be configured by your user upon the email notification template design. Okay, now let me select another PO. Okay, this is another vendor. Okay, also same. I just select the PO. Okay, because I put only when status release will send. So now I click on it. Okay, then it will be triggered out. Okay, what will happen is when I click on it, okay, it also trigger out, right? Now I open up again my email. Okay, so let me refresh. Okay, this one I think is because I sent to another, yeah. Because this one, I've set another of my colleague email as the CC. Okay, you'll notice that it's sent to the different email and different user. It depends on the condition I set up for that specific vendor and also the purchaser. Because these two PO, I actually raised using the different vendor and also different purchaser code. And I already set up inside my notification template. So when it's vendor A, it's sent to vendor A email. When it's purchaser A, it's sent to purchaser A email. So for different PO, I set up for different vendor and different purchaser, it will send it to the different email, even though it's actually the same email notification template. So this is what we call action on activate. So the one is for your PO confirmations. Okay, I set it using the variables. So you can maintain all your vendor email and purchaser email inside the email user group, and then later on, when you set up the email notification template, instead of type in the email here, you just call that email user group in. So system will be able to identify for different vendor and different purchaser what is the email to be sent to. Okay, so this is for the action on activate. Okay, this is the second core features. Okay, third one. Okay, before lastly I go for the E-Invoice one. The third one I will show you guys on the workflow approval, how the system can actually auto send out the notification with the attachment and also the BC link. See, I preset the BC link here. I want the system to allow me to click on the link to open up my BC for the specific page. Of course, it won't able to up to the document level, but it will be in the page view. Okay, you see I set up it something like this. Okay, the same too I put in blank because I already preset it will depend on who is the requester. So when it's been approved, it will send to the requester email. I already set up it inside my workflow. Means that once my sales quotation has been approved, right? Okay. Once my sales quotation has been approved, I will send it using just now the template, and then the requester email will be in the to, and the approval email will be in the CC. Okay, so let's see the result. So now I will raise a sales quotation for myself. Sales quote. Okay. Of course, the same logic apply not only for sales quote. It means that if you today want to use it on the sales order, purchase order, okay, as long as there is a workflow, you can trigger this approval notification. Okay. For example, I raise this sales quotation. Okay, because there is an approval workflow, right? So what I will do, I will need to send the approval request. Okay, because for this setup, for this demo, I just put myself as the approver. So when I send, it will auto release. That means that I will auto approve because I am the approver. So when I send, okay, it's updated as this. But if you really look into it, actually I am the one who approved these quotations. So it's approved by my ID. Okay, because I put myself as the approver. So when it's been approved, so now let's see at my email. Okay, so now it's telling me my sales quotation 1031 is approved. Okay, it attached me my sales quotation. Okay, you can imagine it will apply also for your sales order or purchase order, depends how you want to set up. So it's telling me my sales quote is approved. Okay, if I want to open up my PC, I can just click on this link. Okay, it will direct me to that specific page. Of course, it depends on how you set up in the template itself, right? So if you already did set up it and log in accordingly, when you click on it, okay, so it's in my another screen. Okay, so it will bring me to my sales quotation list. Okay, I close it again. You just click on it. Okay, so it will bring you over to that PC screen. Okay, you actually do for the sales order or purchase order, of course, you will need to set the link for your sales quotation, a sales order page or purchase order page. For this case, because I demo using sales quote, so I put the link for the sales quotations. Okay, so this will be the first three functionalities that we have earlier in the SCT email notification. That means that if assisting, you are our SCT email notification client. Okay, then the last one is the new features that we add on to cater for the Malaysian E-Invoice. Of course, you can use not only for E-Invoice, but of course, the main objective is also to serve the E-Invoice once it's been validated. Okay, so what we did inside this SCT email notification for E-Invoice is we add a new event type called data change on modify. Okay, you notice just now the first three is on business event, action activity schedule, right? So now we have new one called data change on modify, and we can put in the condition for only when the E-Invoice status is validated, only I want to trigger this notification. And beside that, I also do the field tracking. Means that I track which one? Track the E-Invoice status field. So when we put data change on modify, we will need to set which field to track. So I want to track this E-Invoice status for the table of sales invoice header. So it means that every time when there is any modification on the E-Invoice status, system will trigger this email notification. Of course, with the condition, it needs to be matched. So it means that if the status change to reject or invalid, of course, this notification will trigger because I put it only when status equal to validated. Of course, if you want the system to notify you also when the status equal to invalid or so on, you can also set another template for the status invalid. Or you want to use same template also, can just add in the condition accordingly. Okay, so here I put the email subject E-Invoice validated for which number and bill to who. Okay, and this one I didn't put in the conditional email or email user group, I just manually type in my email. Okay, of course, if you really want to put in the condition, you can also do so. Right? Okay, for this case, I just directly put in my email. And then below here, you see, I set in up the email content with the variable, and also you will notice I preset some of the link. This is allow you to direct open up the QR code page for that Malaysia E-Invoice in the IRB portal. Okay, so what will happen? Let's see the result. Okay, of course, lastly, you make sure you enable. I attach the validated E-Invoice here. So now let me raise a sales invoice and submit to IRB. And let's see the result. Okay, the process will be same as what you do for sales order. Okay, just simply sell something, location, this. Okay, example like this. Okay, now let me just release that and post the invoice. Okay, so once I posted the invoice, okay, so of course now we need to upload it to the IRB. So once uploaded, okay, the status updated as submitted. Okay, so means that it's accepted by IRB. Okay, but we yet to get the log ID because we yet to be validated. Okay, so we wait for a while, then I just go to the submissions to call the E-Invoice status. Okay, get submission status. Okay, so once I get the submission status, okay, if my invoice has been validated, okay, yeah, you will notice what? System will send the notifications automatically telling me my E-Invoice has been validated. And then it sent me the validated E-Invoice with the QR code. Okay, if you prefer, instead of click on that, I want to just click on this. I can even direct access to the My Invoice portal for the document that we submit just now. See? So it can direct link me to the My Invoice portal as long you did set link correctly. Okay, so notice that we can direct point to the IRB portal to view the details. Okay, so of course to ease you also can attach to ease your client. Okay, you can also attach the UID. Okay, so this will be the same page when your user scan the QR. So you point it to this is the pre-production environment. Okay, this is the 4 main core functionality that we have for the ACT email notification. Means that I can get the system to auto send the email notification when my E-Invoice has been validated. It can be applicable to your postal sales invoice, and also if you have any self-bill purchase invoice. Same goes applicable on your CN as well. So you want the system to auto notify your client whenever your E-Invoice has been validated. Okay, you can set this kind of notifications template inside the PC. Okay, so this will be the 4 main core functionality that we have in the ACT email notifications. Okay, now I just quickly go back to the slide. Okay, the schedule report one. Okay, this is the slide that if you already registered my attendance earlier in the morning, just now, okay, before we start, okay, you will get this slide. Okay, inside the slide, I will show you for different functionality, how you can apply it into your business. Okay, some of the setup that you can do lah. Okay, I will just skip this because this is the one that I already demoed just now. Okay, then of course, all the email notifications that sent out to your client or vendor, you will have another page called email notification log. Okay, inside the PC, we have another called email notification log. You can view for specific template or you can view for all. Okay, for example, I just want to see for validated E-Invoice. Okay, just click on it and come to history and view the log entries. So I will be able to see, okay, today, okay, just now we already sent for this one. Okay, send to which email here. Okay, it can be viewed by different template. Okay, you can also view this one. Okay, this morning we only sent to these two. Okay, different email and different purchaser, because I set for different vendor and different purchaser. Okay, so this is the main 4 core functionality we have inside the SCT email notifications.